Welcome back to the Global Business Report here on Horizon News. It's March 31st, which brings an end to Women's History Month. However, the quest for gender inclusion in society and in the workplace continues, with global efforts being made in public and the private sector. Joining us to discuss further from our Abuja studios is Dolapo Agbede, who's the founder and CEO of WillWay Paradigm. The WillWay Paradigm is a consulting company that helps private and public companies make informed, sustainable improvements that foster inclusion and productivity. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, just yesterday, you were on a NESG Economic Summit Group, the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, Digital Future Panel discussion, and you made some points about building an inclusive digital future. Can you tell us what you shared there yesterday?
Thank you so much, Rotas, and thank you for having me. Some of the points that I highlighted is that a lot of great work has been done to identify that digital inclusion is a pathway to make sure that we have an inclusive future for the vast amount of talent we have in Nigeria, both from the entrepreneurial end and also from the workforce end, So we've done a lot of good job to showcase that we are fundable, right? People can invest in Nigeria. A lot has also been done to reshape the policies to make sure that they are developmental in nature, and so that funding that comes can follow through for impact projects. But we need to focus on the people. So number one, the underserved communities that are targeted, especially women, youth, and persons with disability, to upskill, to give competence, to close competence gaps. And then when we do these programs, as we design them, to take into account the fact that the people that we're calling in to participate in these programs already have some competencies or some things they're getting right. That was what made them eligible for the program in the first place. Now, how do we make sure that when they are done with the upskilling, the exposure that they have, that they can progress to patronage, to actually delivering the impact, to actually hiring people? So the mix, the soft mix of respect, to make sure that you're giving the participants in this program what they need to run, the soft component of trust, that the programs do what they say and say what they're going to do so that people know what they're getting into. Then the reasonable accommodation that might be nuanced, required from project to project to project to make sure it is successful. And then, of course, patronage. Because at the end, when we have equipped people, whether it's with skills, where do they go to next? There are fantastic internship programs that now young workforce people can put as part of their resumes. But from there, where do they go to next? If those gaps are closed and people see that from entering into those kind of impact programs, you output into at least some sort of earning, then people will trust the process and more would get done. So we would still get more funding, the accountability will be there, sustainability reporting will have more evidence of impact.
Great stuff. Speaking of impact, you have a personal example of inclusion from your professional career. Can you please share that with us?
Oh yes, thank you, Rita. So I openly identify as a person with visual disability. This has been since 2007. It's due to glaucoma. And earlier this month, it was World Glaucoma Week. And glaucoma is a silent stiller of sight, right? And because it impacts the optic nerve, today, medically, once the damage is done, you cannot reverse it. So please, everyone, above and beyond reading the alphabet when you go for your eye tests, please also request for your pressures to be taken. Glaucoma, blindness due to glaucoma is preventable. You just need to catch it early and manage it, okay? But in the organization I was working in, it was a telecom OEM organization, so I was in the digital space, and because I had a line manager who was diversity, equity, and inclusion aware, so I had the opportunity to continue to work for 11 more years, supported to be equipped to deliver my activities, trained in Europe to deliver telecom infrastructures, advisory products and services across sub-Saharan Africa. You can imagine that at the beginning of my disability journey, it was really tough to accept. I was not this composed to talk about it then, but I was able to thrive, and that's why when I look at the disability underserved community, there are two things to do. In that talent pool that is there, get them to realize they can rise above their situation, and with technology, so much can can happen. Even if due to your home situation you were not educated, maybe appropriately, so much can be done for upskilling online. There are targeted programs for the disability community now. So the pathway for someone who is enthused to change their situation is there. Now, on the demand side, which is the workplace, the workforce, diversity, equity and inclusion is becoming more top of mind as part of their sustainability reporting. Above and beyond funding, proper impact CSR, organizations are actually looking into that talent pool for workforce onboarding also. Then, of course, there's a critical bit which I represent. Your best talent who is bringing the highest to your revenue bottom line could be going through a situation like I did. And now with the consciousness of diversity, equity and inclusion, that talent could be given the right support to continue to serve the organization.
Excellent stuff. Only got a minute to go. Can you tell us practically how technology can improve inclusivity as far as the digital inclusivity is concerned?
One, you have a plethora of platforms. You're spoiled for choice to get knowledge. With knowledge, you can identify, and knowledge in the space that you like, whether it's fashion or technical stuff, or it's coding or it's animation. We're spoiled for choice now to upskill and perform. You can sit in Nigeria and you can serve the world. You can earn from any part of the world. You need the quality of what you offer to be requisite to the income you want to earn. The only bit that might be a bit tough is the supportive infrastructure. So power, internet, data. But there are hubs now where you can walk in, get vouchers, spend the time you need to do some qualitative work and get value out to give value. The options are plenty, and the only reason those options are there is because we have a digital world.
Great stuff. Dolapo Agbede, CEO, founder, WillWay Paradigm, thank you for sharing your personal story, and thank you for the work you're doing, trying to put gender inclusivity forward beyond Women's History Month and International Women's Day. Thank you so much for your time.